So please welcome our next speaker, Andrei Militsenko.
Okay. But the mic, it doesn't work. Or it's just... Oh, okay, I got this. Hello, everyone. Hello. Yeah, it's really nice to see so many colleagues here. Can you guys raise a hand who is a manual QA?
What will say?
What was that?
Will say.
Raise a hand once again.
I mean, you can do what you feel like. I'm not insisting. Yeah. And who's automation QA? Okay. Are there any QA leads? I just want to check us. Okay. Great. Yeah, I just need to know because I'm going to tell you about the processes, and it'll be also like soft skills stuff, like no code examples. So I just want to know where to focus. Okay. So yeah, I'll tell you about myself a little bit. I work in Semrush. You already heard about the company, so I will not stop on this one. So I actually automate with Java and TypeScript, and yeah, I've been more than 2 years already in IT industry. In different roles, I've been like manual QA, I've been automation QA, I've been test lead, I've been not QA but support engineer, a little bit of software engineer, whatever. So yeah, so on path. But now I work in Semrush as a QA for 6 years. I think that's pretty much a lot. But it is what it is. And I live in Berlin, so I'll just tell you how it's like to work with Germans. Yeah, I'm inspired. Like, once that stuff, like, yeah, we just. Okay. If you guys want to ask me something, like, you can reach me on Telegram. You can follow my LinkedIn. I don't know. If you want, just yeah, I can refer all you if you want. Yeah, we'll split the money. Don't tell anyone. Okay, I'm just kidding. So, maybe not. Okay, yeah. So the topic of my today's speech will be about the testing processes and how they change during the lifetime, during the evolution and growing of the project you test. So it'll be like a short story and a couple of things you might assume a good practice, and maybe at some point you'll have this situation when you're a QA in a small team or a startup situation like alcohol-driven development, and then you work in corporation. Everything is boring now, and you have to adapt. Yeah, that might hit you, but yeah, you can be prepared. Maybe learn something from that. Maybe not. Maybe you'll say that's all bad practice. Or yeah, I'm ready for the criticism because it's not perfect. It is what it is. Yeah, so imagine how at least we are surviving right now in some changing and growing environment, and yeah, how also another I think might be useful topic is how to involve developers into QA process when you really want. It's not easy, but it's doable, at least sometimes. Okay, let's go. So, yeah, I work on my reports project. There's just a couple screens from it. It's not the whole thing, but basically just to show what I'm talking about, just to be more clear. We have reporting tools from Semrush, has some data from different sources, and users can actually take this data and visualize with different widgets. So it's just what you see is what you get. Editor. You can create a report, and you also, as you can see here on the left side, you can schedule it to be sent and generated, first generated, then sent to some clients, like a PDF, and you can schedule like the time. Actually, at the time was a paid feature. Yeah. Anyway, so that's mostly it. Like, of course we have some more functionality. I'll just briefly show you a couple main screens just to let you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. So I'll just tell you the whole lifespan which I experienced during this working on this project, and we'll go more thorough through interesting stuff. So when I joined, it was just one team, and yeah, it was only 3 developers and 1 QA. And Semrush has some kind of interesting structure. So every team has its own product, and it's like a small startup. So it felt really like a startup. We just were working like in a small startup there. Yeah, then we had a couple more developers, and we also had more nice features. And we started working on a second project. After a while, we had 6 developers and 2 QAs, and more features. Start working on some external integration, like working with data from external sources, not only internal Semrush data. Yeah, and we moved to atomic widgets, just more advanced stuff, so you could customize your reports better. And yeah, now we have like 4 teams. It changed dramatically, and 5 QAs, so more than 20 developers, actually already 30 developers, and it's still growing, and a lot of new features coming every week. So yeah, now it's dramatically bigger. And I'll tell you how we handle it. Just, yeah, maybe it could be interesting for some of you. So yeah, so once again, I'll tell you, when I joined the project, there were just 3 developers, me, also we have a product owner and a designer. Very cozy, very chill, and we actually had this paper-based checklist. We didn't have a lot of automation, so our regression testing before the release was just printing the papers, given to everyone who was in the room, and we were just checking with the pen, like passed, failed, and then we made a decision if deploying or not, because it was not just QA doing the manual regression, because it will take too long. Yeah, and we had just basic functionality, basically what I showed you a couple screens on the first slide. So yeah, it took us like an hour, so it was okay. And after a while, like the next step, we had already 6 developers, more functionality, a lot of automated tests, like regression of 350 tests, some end-to-end tests mostly. And so it was already something bigger. And the trouble was that as a QA, I had a lot of responsibilities. That I had to maintain the existing regression set, which sometimes were breaking. You all know, flaky tests sometimes happen, sometimes some locators changes for the UI test, something, let's say, functionality changes, you have to adjust the test, and more. Also, the only QA in the team had to cover all the new features and bugs, and do the manual testing, because we still have manual testing sometimes. We cannot automate everything yet, unfortunately, but we're working on it. And yeah, I also managed the prod releases, because we had a continuous delivery. So after the task is tested, we just put it straight to production, because why wait? We could do it. Yeah, the faster the better. And we all, at this point, realized there's like a bottleneck. So we had a like Jira dashboard. We don't actually use Jira, but some task tracker with a lot of tasks waiting for the test, because I couldn't process so many tasks by myself. So we had to do something with that. Yeah, we actually hired a second QA. easy job. Yeah. But we also made a first attempt to involve developers in the QA process, because you cannot just hire someone and double the capacity, because you have to wait until he learns everything. You have to wait until he enrolls. Yeah. Sometimes you want to go to vacation as well. So we wanted to involve the developers to the QA process. And my first attempt was doing kind of experiment. So we decided that for one sprint, we had like 2 week sprints, like just regular Scrum thing. Yeah, we decided we switch roles, this partially. So all the developers had to implement at least one automated test, and the QA had to do one front-end and one back-end task. Of course, I picked the simple tasks, like one story point. It was easy, and developers reviewed it, and it was okay. So as a result, I gained some knowledge about architecture, about front-end, back-end. So it was, at least for me, it was really nice experience. And all the developers managed to write absolutely perfect tests. Nevertheless, they using the JavaScript and TypeScript for developing the features, and in test project we have Java, so it's completely different stack, but they all managed it. I was like, guys, it'll be simple. You can code in Java. Tests are not rocket science. Yeah, they managed, but the downside was at the end of the day, developers like, okay, we can do that, but we had to commit to this test project. We had to then analyze the regression results, like look through all this allure, deploy some feature to special branch, manage the release. So we kind of want to develop new features. Like we don't want to test something, just hire another QA. We can do that, but we just don't want to because we are developers. That's too much effort. We want to concentrate on our job. Yeah, that's why the experiment was not 100% success, I have to admit. But at least I tried. Yeah. So, and then the next phase of our project was the rapid growth. So at some point, there was a decision that we should dramatically increase the functionality. They gave us more resources. So there's now instantly 4 teams working for the same project instead of 1 team. And we faced some real issues because I might say we were not ready for that because that was like really fast change. So which challenges did we face? Like as a QA, of course, all the other members, they had their own challenges, but as a QA team, the most painful point was that we shared one testing environment. It's okay when you have one team, one QA, we just deploy to the test environment, test there, and go to production. Perfect. But when you have 4 teams, there's a line. There was a chat, and people like were really joking, like, okay, who's next? I'll wait. Can I have a schedule like for next week? I need the environment on Monday. Please don't occupy it. Oh, I accidentally deployed my task there. I didn't task. Oh no, the testing is ruined. It was a complete mess. And there was like a bottleneck of this testing environment. So we actually had like release candidate environment. We deployed their feature, tested there, run regression, then went to production. Yeah, so that's wasn't the best approach now anymore because you had more people wanted to occupy this environment than the capacity. Someone even was kidding like we should make shifts, like someone occupies during night, someone like because there's no other way. Yeah, we also had an issue that multiple features were released daily, so we have now 4 teams doing the same thing. You test something, you decide it's ready, you just push the button, it goes to production. Cool, but at the end of the day, that might be bugged in production. And who's responsible? You don't know. We have to investigate. It's you. Nobody wants to take care of that. Also, a hard situation sometimes. Yeah, another thing that we started having the unstable regression suite. There's a lot of changes from all the teams, a lot of changes from the QAs. So each team has its own QA. And sometimes it's a mess because you have one version, you have another version, which one is stable, which one fits which task. A little bit complicated. Yeah, and that also brought the delay of covering the new functionality because we didn't have agreement yet between the teams that if you have a feature, you have to cover it by regression first, then go to production. Unfortunately, we faced that because, yeah, things change sometimes very quick. Yeah, as a result, we had some bugs on production, unfortunately, and we realized we cannot live like this anymore. Because waiting in line for testing, it's not that painful. It just slows us down. But releasing to prod some bugs, it's very painful because the users comes, the management comes, and they're not happy. Yeah. So how we fixed it? So the approach that we found, I'm not insisting that that's the perfect ways to fix that. That's just how we did that. Maybe in other situation, another team, there's a better solution. It's just how it worked for us. I just want to share. Yeah, so first thing we did was introducing like the stage environment. So now each feature branch had its own environment. So you don't need the common test environment for everything. So each feature branch, it has its own test environment. It's more or less stable. And yeah, you can test there. You don't have to wait anymore. And we put a lot of effort with the QA team to adapt the regression test suite so it can be run on the stage environment. It's kind of different from production-like test environment, to be honest. And yeah, what we had in the end of the day that the developer could test his own task even before putting it to the test column, before involving the QA. So he just deploy it to the stage environment, he runs regression, he has results. If it's okay, then he passes to the QA team. If it's not, he can fix the bug, even without touching the QA, without the QA touching the ticket, okay? Yeah, and we made the rule that everyone should run the regression on his feature branch before moving it to the test. Yeah, as a downside, the stage environment has reduced functionality, slightly reduced, I would say. But it is what it is. At least we got rid from the line. Maybe it's on this picture somewhere. I don't know. Yeah. Oops. Another step we made was making the developers, as I already said, run the regression for each feature branch. But this time, we were more prepared. So we thought, okay, we will try to involve the developers to the stage or to the test process once again. We already failed once. Okay, we'll try another time. And we were like really tricky this time. We made running regression like super easy, like here. So we can each deploy contains like a link. You click on it, you run the regression automatically. You just need to click once, and it's way less actions than to ask the QA to do that. It's even more simple than moving the tickets in the gyro. So we just made it super simple, and developers now do that because it's the least effort. Yeah, that's the example of our Slack notification. So we decided, okay, they run the regression, but they have to know when it's finished. And it takes like some time, 10, 20 minutes sometime. We're not perfect. 500 tests. Okay. Yeah, and we have a Slack notification, so developers will see the message in Slack, and it's really convenient. So when they see if the tests are successful or not, they can decide what to do with the task. And that actually worked. Finally, we made the developers run our regression tests and see the result, check the results in Slack. Yeah, second attempt, but finally succeeded. Yeah, we had to, of course, it wasn't like just like this. Okay, click the link and get the results. Developers were like, okay, do it by yourself, please. You're okay. So we had to explain them several times the advantages of this approach, that we have more time for fixing the test, like testing the task and so. Yeah, and bugs now are found in the early stage, without even involving the QAs, without even moving the task to the test column, and yeah, some really some bargains and some talks with developers also helped. Some bribes, some threats, whatever it took. Yeah, let's move forward. And also we had to introduce the new release process because releasing with 4 teams just when they want, it didn't work anymore. It was too risky because it's really hard to. Sometimes you can test 2 tasks like separately, all perfect, all good, but you just merge it release and you have a bug. It's a rare situation, but it can happen, unfortunately. Let's say someone resolved the conflicts not perfectly. And here we go. Yeah, that's why we decided that we need like a centralized release. I know it might sound boring, it might sound outdated a little bit, but we still have like everyday release, so it's not that bad. So the process is that we run the nightly regression. So we automated the deployment to the main release candidate environment. This is important because the stage environments, they are still not fully functional. And at first we thought, okay, we'll just tweak them, we'll put more effort, and we have the stage environments production-like as well, so it will not need this release candidate test environment, which was a bottleneck anymore. But it didn't work, unfortunately, because of some infrastructural restrictions. Yeah, that's why we decided that, okay, each team will test their own task on the stage, then they'll merge to the release candidate branch, but not to production. Instead of just instantly deploying it to production, we'll merge everything in a release candidate branch. And then during the night, we'll automatically deploy it to the release candidate environment and automatically run the full regression set. Yeah. That's how we decided to roll. And we had a discussion like, if the tests fail, what should we do? Because we still don't know which team made a bug, who is responsible. So we had like a discussion with the QA team and developers team. We had several approaches like we could try. The first one was just Slack discussions, so we just chat about the bugs and hope that someone will raise a hand, okay, it's our bug, we'll fix it, and then we'll go to production. Another one was just have a QA engineer on duty. So someone is on duty. If there are some failed tests, it doesn't matter if it's your team or not, but you're responsible for this. And the third one was just QA sync. So if there are some failed tests in the release date, we just gather all the whole QA team and we discuss the things. And surprisingly, this one was the best. So everyone liked it. At some point, we realized that we communicate during the between the teams. We split the bugs. Okay, if you have some extra job, one QA is overloaded, you can ask for the help. Like, let's fix this test together. Let's discuss some things. And during these syncs, we also discuss like some architectural approach. Let's update something. Let's try something new. So we have more time for communication. It really makes sense. It really improves. And I asked everyone how they feel about the process. Should we change it more? And everybody was like, this QA sync is really nice. Now I feel more confident in what I'm doing. So yeah. So this is how our release candidate life cycle looks now. It's not the whole process. It has really huge diagram. It doesn't fit. I made it just to every developer when he asks, what should I do in my tricky situation? I have a link for him. Like, just read the manual. Yeah. So actually, how we roll, if the task is not urgent, if it's not a hot fix, which is like, we have a special process. I will not show you, sorry. But yeah, if it's just a regular task, which can wait for one day until the regular release process, we just test it by the team. The team decides, like we have 4 teams, that each team can decide how they test it, with automated tests, with some manual testing, whatever they want. Sometimes we have design tests as well. Then they just instead of instantly deploying it, they just merge it to the release candidate branch. And then the nightly regression kicks in. And if it's green, we just release it to prod in the morning. If it's not green, we have this QA sync I've told you already about. And we decide what to do with that. So we either decide that we have to postpone the release and fix the bug, or just, if we can't wait, maybe we'll just, yeah, what can we do? We just roll back the task, let's say, which is causing the bug. We'll make a hot fix. So we decide that it's not critical and still release it and fix afterwards. So there might be options. We have to discuss it sometimes with product owners, but at least it works. Yeah, and what was really good that we don't have any production bugs since that, because we like double covered. At first, we usually test the task by the slightly smaller regression set and some manual testing, and we have the second frontier that with nightly regression and 4 eyes on it, it really helps. And it really helps keep the regression green. Like we really have to keep it stable because you have like 30 developers running it daily. And if there's like some flaky tests or some false negative tests, they'll come to you and they'll like, listen here, why my test failed? And you'll have to explain all of them. So you better keep your test stable. That really motivates. Yeah. So what's the good things that this process brought, as I can see, is, as I already said, we have high confidence in release quality. So now we can almost certainly, like almost 100% avoid any production bugs. Of course, if it's covered by the test. If it's not covered, it will not help, right? And yeah. Also, we have some disadvantages that, first of all, embedding this process when you have like 30 developers, every developer has something on his mind. He knows how to do this better. He asks the question like, "Oh, I like this. No, I want to deploy my task right now because it's important. We need to deploy it and earn all the money because it brings some value. I don't want to wait. Why would I wait? My task is perfect. There's no bugs." Yeah, you have to explain for everyone sometimes like 3, 4 times, but yeah, it is what it is. And also, yeah, we have a limited time window. We release only once a day, usually if it's not urgent, and we just decided not to release on Friday because somehow the on-call engineers, they don't like to fix bugs on Sundays. I don't know why. That's a mystery, but yeah, if anyone knows, just tell me why. So basically, yeah, what's the key points? I want to repeat just to make it more obvious what I want to tell you guys. That changes are natural. Sometimes they not happen for a long time. Sometimes they happen instantly, and you have to adjust, and it's okay. Sometimes, if you change the process, it doesn't work, so you have to try again. It's also okay. It's natural. Happens to all of us. Yeah. Quality assurance sometimes slows down the thing. Yeah, you have to sometimes maybe not use the continuous deployment until you're not ready. We're actually looking for bringing the fully automated continuous release, but I think it's the next step. Maybe next year I'll tell you about that. Yeah, maybe I'll have more gray hair. I don't know. Yeah. And engaging developers in the QA process is not easy, but doable. At least if you try once or 2 or 3 times. So just, yeah, if you feel that you don't have enough capacity, yeah, it really helps because when you free some QA capacity, you can actually cover more features with automation. We started doing some non-functional testing as well. I finally had time to do the performance testing, to do some other cool stuff. That really helps and really drives the quality of the project to the moon, at least to a decent level. Okay. Okay, guys, thanks everyone for the attention. So, yeah, it's time